Welcome to Tableau Server and Cloud Admin Talk. My name is Mark Wu. I'm the talk leader and the Tableau Server admin. Today's talk is about Tableau Cloud or Server security. Some Tableau admins have a difficulty to find us. For those who you found here, probably you know how to get to this group, but for others who cannot find us, it's very hard to reach out to them, unfortunately, since Tableau changed this new platform. For those who may not know, if you still join this group, you join. But if you are joined already, you can still go to the group, product, Tableau Server and Cloud Admin. You can find all the previous recordings. You do a load more, you can find the last 2-3 years, the recording, I made all of them here. So where to find them, go to each session. I gave a title of each session. You click view details. You will see all the previous recordings. Just make your life easier. I think I did the last 2-3 years. All right. Come back to Tableau Server Cloud Security. If you Google Tableau Server or Platform Security, you'll find this white paper, which is pretty good, actually. Talk about mainly 4 areas: authentication, authorization, data security, and network security. I still found it much easier if I show the 4 things this way. It's easier for me to communicate to my stakeholders, the business teams. The center I call infrastructure, covers network, everything. Above that is a server or cloud. That actually is configured by us as admin. And then additionally, you may have additional governance process, which is mainly my topic today. And then above, the outside is, of course, is publishers. They own their content permission. Just double click on each of those. Here's the screen I have put together. Last time, the part 1, we talk about Tableau Cloud or server configuration. I'll go through a quick review. And then the part 2, about 2 months ago, we talked about a governance thing where for my server, I did additional Python script governance, owner left company or user group, large user group. Today, I'm focusing on a few other governance, subscriptions, PII, and sensitive data. Let's just do a quick review. For the part 1 we talked about, if you have vendors, external users using your Tableau server, just like me, what I have is I have those users onboarded into a separate site. I call them vendor site. You may have multiple vendor sites. In my case, I found it easier to consolidate them with one vendor site. Less site is easier for me to manage. However, I leverage the feature called user visibility limited. What it does is to make sure vendor A has no way to see vendor B's username at all, plus a few other things. I also have another user case where I have a separate server. I have a small dedicated server sitting outside my firewall to serve another type of external users where I don't even give them single sign-on. They are still complete outside my firewall. So that's another one. We also talk about encryption. This is no-brainer. Encryption, it has almost no impact on your performance. Only impact is your backup size maybe bigger. maybe backup restore take longer. And I enforced all my extracts on the server. If you use a cloud, it's not the issue because whole server is encrypted. Explain data is relatively new thing. I did my study. Is relatively safe to use. Default is on, that is good. You do have option to control on off at site server level, site level, workbook level, but turning it on is safe, good. Super low risk. Tableau extension, sandbox extensions are safe to use. I enabled all the sandbox extensions on my server. Network extension is not safe to use. Data story is good to use. So that's a recap on things can be configured on your server or your site. Let's dive into additional security measures that can be done. Last time we talked about 3 things. One is what happens if the content owner left the company. Overall, what we should do when the user left a company? The best practice is always delete them. Delete the user. Of course, we know that user cannot be deleted if the user owns the content. In this case, the user, if you use API, whatever, delete the user will become unlicensed. The content is still working perfectly fine. In this case, the recommended process, the best practice is always to change the content to a new owner. By whom? By the project leaders. Of course, admins, server-side admins can also do so, but I always leverage project leaders. After the owner is changed, then I will delete those users. So my deletion user is more like a batching program I run weekly, something like that. The problem here is that in a large organization like what I have, often the project leader or project admin, I'm using those 2 terms for the same thing. The project admins may not be aware some of the contents owned by a person who left the company. That is a common situation I see. If the project leader knows that content owner left, the particular workbook is still owned by someone left the company, probably he or she will change, but often just something missed. So what I do is a simple alert where I check the content owner against my company directory. If I found this person own a content, but it's not in my company directory anymore, I just send a nice reminder email to the project leader. Later on, also, I was recommended also send it to the previous manager. Ask them to change the owner. Just a nice small little reminder to complete the process, to make others' life easier. Next one, we talked about our user group. Our user group is a built-in Tableau cloud or server group. Of course, consists of every user of a site. Is a site specific. And you cannot delete. You cannot delete it. If someone knows how to delete it without impacting Tableau server feature, let me know. I've been trying that. I do not like our user group. I know some of you love it because my organization is too big. Our users, too many users. It ends up with access permission. Almost every single case when all users group are used. Since I cannot delete, even I cannot rename all users group, what I should do? Well, people choose all user groups from time to time, especially when they cannot find the groups in the Tableau server, or they just don't know. They just choose all user groups. What I do is I have a daily Python watchdog program for any content workbook data source flows. If all user group is used, I will delete them every single day and send the email reminder to the content owner. Just use a simple Python scripts, pull it from using a REST API actually. Workbook data source flows, metrics, virtual connection, even the project level, everywhere, anywhere. So that is all user group. Any questions, comments? Let me just see if the chat has any questions, comments. For those who are able to speak, feel free to unmute yourself to talk, ask quick questions if you need to. Another one is large group. Large group. Now we're not talking about all user group, talking about the very large groups. The problem I have is from time to time as server admin, I got this feedback. Hey, why I see this dashboard? I have nothing to do with it. Well, what happened is the content owner just choose very large group. Not necessarily all users, very large group for the permission. And also the problem is that when the content owner assigned a grant permissions by choosing a group, Tableau server has no way to show like how many members of each group. No way. We as admin, we are able to see that from separate menu, but as content owner, unfortunately, they have no way to see which group has how many members. So they may just choose a very large group that may not be aware of. So what I do as a server admin, I cannot simply delete it because it may be valid. And mostly it's valid. So what I do is I just send a reminder email alert to the content owner when a very large group is used. You can define what is large group. In my case, I define this 1,000 user group. Similar to our user group, but just the Python find the permission associated with any groups with a member more than, for me, is 1,000. I can configure that. Anyone choose a group with more than 1,000 users, one time they will receive an email alert. Nothing wrong. Something like this. All right, those are what we discussed in last previous 2 sessions. Part 1, focusing on server or site or cloud configuration. Things can be configurable to meet different business needs, tied up security, and at the same time enable self-service. Part 2, we talk about additional things can be done as your server or cloud governance. Maybe a little bit challenging to do a cloud because you don't have the Postgres access. Today, we are talking about 3 more features that to further enhance the service security. Subscription, PII, and sensitive data. Subscriptions. What is the problem we are trying to solve? First of all, Tableau server is designed for visualization, interactivity. That's what Tableau's best. I'm not fond of the subscriptions. However, I do understand it is very convenient for Tableau dashboard to be sent to someone's inbox, especially executives. I know they do not open Tableau, log in Tableau to view dashboards. Most of them do not. They receive the emails, which is fair. Subscription is a good feature. I'm okay with that. Although I don't want see subscription to be used more than the interactions. So I watch over time the ratio, number of subscriptions per day versus number of clicks a day. My server somewhere at 15%, I feel is okay. That's overall subscription. Now, also another problem I see is I want to make sure people do not subscribe and forgot. When they're subscribed, they don't use anymore. They're just like, they're lazy. They don't want to just unsubscribe. The email still sent to them, that they're just auto forward, auto delete, whatever. That become a server resource waste and a potential data security concern, especially when someone moved out of their job role. So what do we do? Tableau does not have a feature to stop or renew subscriptions. Once you subscribed, the user is subscribed forever until action is taken. That is out-of-box Tableau's feature. I do not like this feature. So I designed another add-on feature I call that I will force the subscribers to renew their Tableau subscriptions every how many days? Right now, I defined it at 100 days. Every 100 days or 100 emails, they have to renew their subscriptions. What happens if they don't renew? I send them renewal reminder. If there's no action taken after 2 reminders, I will delete their subscriptions, which means they don't use it anymore. Again, Python is my friend. The way I do is using, again, the Python REST API to pull all the subscriptions. And I will send first or second notification to the end users with a link to renew. If they click the renew link, I do have flex endpoint listening, waiting listening. If the renewal is clicked, the flex runs backend function to recreate the subscriptions. Continues. However, if the user does not click anything after a second message, basically it will delete. The subscription will be deleted. That's a high-level workflow. And the email notifications will be like this. I think this is the final notification, deletion notification. You noticed at the bottom, I do have a subscription action, renew your subscriptions. Just simple click. When they click that button, I'm going back a little bit. When they click, I have a flex endpoint listening and took the URL. It's quite tricky, but we figured it out. It's working. This has been working well for me for last, but maybe about 2 years or so. Okay. This is the subscription deletion. Let me see if anyone has any questions. I'm going to pause here. Any questions for those who are able to speak? You can unmute yourself to speak. Or maybe, let me see if there's anything in the QA. I'm not seeing anything QA. Let me see. I think I have something in the chat. Okay. Any questions? Feel free to click the QA. All right, I'm not seeing that. Let me continue. This is what I call subscription manager. To renew the subscriptions every 100 days for me. Now, you may ask, who should receive this subscription notification or reminder? Who should receive this? Who we should send to? Depends. Remember that the subscription can be done by end user or by the account owner or by the project leader. If it is originally subscribed by the end user, of course, it makes sense for this notification goes to the end user. However, if it is originally subscribed by the account owner, the owner can invite a group of people, users, subscribe, or individual ones subscribe. And then the notification will go to the content owner and the end user. I want the end users to be aware as well. Similarly, if it was subscribed by the project leader, it goes to the project leader and end users. Or you can define whatever logic you want. Move on, next one. Personal identifiable information, PII data. What is PII data? Just example, like payment card, like SSN, bank account, driver license, DOB, password, and so on, email address, phone number, employee ID can also be a PII data. We cannot avoid the PII data. Unfortunately, there are PII data everywhere. Can PII data be published on Tableau server? That is your company policy. First of all, ask those few questions. Does your organization have any PI policy and classification? Which type of PI classification? Mostly yes. Do you allow any PI data on your server or cloud? In my case, yes and no. Certain PI data is okay on server, others cannot. I'll explain to you why my org has this policy. How to identify Tableau workbooks using PII. That is tricky. That is a myth. And once you are able to identify, how do you govern PI data on Tableau server? Let's dive into this. This is example of a PI policy. Pretty much I'm following. We classify two types of a PII. High sensitive versus sensitive. I gave some examples. High sensitive, we do not allow on Tableau server because in my organization, any high sensitive data is supposed to have column level encryption enabled. Column level encryption enabled. Tableau server does not have that. Well, for the regular sensitive, it's okay on Tableau server as long as encryption is enabled. That is policy I'm following. So as you can see, what if someone publish a high sensitive data, like with payment card number, bank account to Tableau server? How can I stop them? I cannot. I cannot stop anyone publishing a workbook with a bank account number, for example. However, I have a watchdog program to do the after-fact governance. What it means after-fact governance? If any high sensitive data is on Tableau server, I have a detection program going on every day, running on a batch. The batch detection PII program will delete the PII data and send a notification to the content owner. So what I have here is, although I cannot stop someone publishing sensitive data on Tableau server, however, I can make sure that I delete them at every single day. I review this with our privacy security team. They are happy. Good enough. If it is regular sensitive type of data, it is okay on Tableau server. Okay, it is okay as long as encryption is enforced. How do I detect the PI? How do I find the PI content? Okay. Once I found the content, the PI, the rest things become easier. Like I can tag them, depends on the PI data, I can delete them. I can even remove download, for example, if the permission has download, I can remove all the download permissions. I even can have a data using the data quality warning. I use that, leveraging data quality warning. I can have a pop-up saying this is a sensitive data alert. I can have all those down the right side. Okay, that's it's just more straightforward. The most difficult one is how do I find the PI content? Again, whatever on the right side is your company's policy. For example, do you really want to avoid downloading? If you want to avoid downloading PI data, you can delete any permissions with the download. The key thing is how do I find it? Let's talk about it. How do I detect PI? Luckily, in my organization, a lot of data come from EDW, Enterprise Data Warehouse. The EDW has done very good job. They are able to tag every single PI database, every single PI table name and the column name. Not only tag it, also with classification. Again, my EDW data warehouse has a PI tag for the table, column that they manage. So once I'm leveraging that data set as my single source of truth, is a PI tagging in EDW. Once I got that, I'm able to using Tableau's lineage. I'm using Tableau lineage find out all the downstream flows, data sources, workbooks. That's how I do it. If for those data come from EDW. Now, I do have other set of data that is not from EDW. There may just come from the regular database they manage, or even just from somewhere downloaded, right? How do I deal with a data source without PI classification. The way I do this is I'm leveraging the PII taxonomy. Taxonomy is nothing but list of column names. Assuming most cases, they do not change the column names. Okay. Again, this is a kind of guessing game, 80-20. Most likely is good. Good is enough. Good enough is good enough. It's nothing 100% for this case. Okay. I'm using the PI taxonomy provided by my privacy team and the security team. And then I'm using the same approach to detect the PI tables columns used on Tableau server. Okay. Using flows. Data source with PI classification from EW, data source without PI classification, and then unit them and have published data source on the server. That is my reference data point. This is a high-level flow. In the real life, it's much more complicated. It's more like this. This is my flow. Okay, my flow on the right side shows how do I do a data warning, how do I do a high sensitive versus regular sensitive, and how do I download, how to identify the download permission. And if I need to remove the download permissions, I can do so. And how do I do a tagging? So I have a different output from my flow to feed different purposes. The key thing here is identify, detect PI. And of course, I use Tableau's catalog feature. Even you do not have data management add-on, this feature is still available for you. Again, once you run the TSM maintenance metadata service enabled, the catalog data is available for read-only Postgres username, even without data management add-on. You can query it already. The data management add-on is mainly for the UI purposes. Users cannot see this quality warning and so on the Tableau dashboard. However, the data set is available for you as server admins by using the read-only Postgres user. Just be aware, Tableau lineage is not 100%. Mainly for the custom SQLs, when your workbook data source has a custom SQL, is incomplete. Again, this is not perfect word. As long as we get 80-20, I think we are good enough. That's the way it is. Recap for PI enforcement. What I have for the last couple of years, again, this is something I'm really proud of. My review with the privacy security team, they are very happy. Other application owners in my company now also looking at Tableau, how do I handle it? So if you are looking to enhance your PI, this is a great approach. Although I cannot share with you the actual code I'm using, but the flow, the ideas, how we do things, I'm here openly talk about it. Also, recording will be available. Any questions about this? Let me see if anyone has any questions. I got a few things in the queue in the chat. I guess people are helping each other, which is good. I'm not seeing anything QA. Let me see the chat. We are looking at the big ID for auditing PI on our server. Anyone use that before? Anyone use that before? Please help. I'm not using big ID. Yeah. Our current compliant policy is PII, PHI data only sees on production Tableau server with encryption enabled. Tableau server is part of our data governance pipelining to identify who the data store are and who has access and what data is being accessed. So your server PII, PHI is okay. That's easy. Okay, that's good. All right. I'm going to move on next. How to deal with trade secret or sensitive data. This is not a PII data, but it's your company's secret. Can be equally important. How do you deal with that on Tableau server? That is even trickier. Sometimes you wish that don't bring those secret data onto Tableau server, but it cannot stop them. But you cannot say, I don't do anything with that. So concerns related compartmented secret information on Tableau server may get out of hands. Valid concern. They are very valid concern. So who is responsible for if worst case the data is getting out of hands? Who is responsible? Well, this is the interesting question. You can say the owners, users, content owners, they own their data, right? Their design, their control policy, who should have access to what. There should always have a rule level security and so on. But as a platform owner, I also feel that we have some kind of responsibilities as well. So is there anything we can do as admins to help the business content owners to protect companies' trading secret? Is there anything we can do? That's a question. The answer, I think, is yes. There's something we can do. Let's do our part. And then if worst case things happened data out of hands, then I think we have done our best already, right? So how to protect those on Tableau server? First of all, again, how do you identify those, right? How do you identify the secret reference database? If you don't have this, if you do not know, cannot tell if a data is company secret, then we cannot protect as a server admin, right? How do we protect? Well, we gotta know how to what are the data? What are those secret data? Luckily, in my organization, there is a trade secret reference database. The reference database is basically a list of type of data who is allowed to access. It's more like you have a DNA, special NDA signed, special disclosure signed for those projects, secret projects, company long-term forecasting, whatever. Okay, only those people, like those 5 people, can access this secret data. Another 100 people can access that type of data. Do you have such reference database available? If yes, then we can do something. In my organization, we do have this. The data set is managed by separate organization, separate team, but I'm able to leverage that doing further governance on Tableau server. So my key thing is in the center, Tableau permission versus secret reference data. Again, Tableau permission is what we can pull from Tableau API. Okay. Secret reference database defines who is allowed to access which data. Let's say I have a secret data published on Tableau server. That server, say if John has access permission to the particular workbook, that has a secret data. And John, unfortunately, his name is not in the company's secret reference database for this particular data set. Then what I do? Then I found discrepancy, right? Then I will email the content owner. In this case, we discussed, should we email them? Should we delete them? Then email. We decided just email them because John may be still in the process of getting the disclosure. So just want to send the email to the content owner. On the right side is example, right upper corner is an example email we are sending to the content owner. Again, what server admin can do to protect secret data? Okay, we can not stop them publishing secret data. Okay, maybe it's okay to have a secret data on the server. However, for those very secret data, we try to compare the Tableau's permission against the disclosure portal, disclosure database, disclosure reference database, whatever your company is calling. And then we find the discrepancies, we alert the content owner. At the one time, now I remove that on the lower right corner. I also leveraged Tableau's data quality warning, and I use API to make it a high sensitive data quality warning. Actually, it has a pop-up automatically for the workbook, for the view that has sensitive data. This is leveraging Tableau's out-of-box feature for data quality warning. This feature is only available if you have data management add-on on the UI side. On the screenshot I have on the right lower corner, I turned it off later on because I got a complaint from business users saying, hey, for a particular team, like all their access is sensitive data. So every single time they click Tableau dashboard, every single time they have to click, there's a pop-up that they don't like. Every single time, for almost every single workbook, their team access, there is always a pop-up. So it's too many extra clicks they do not like. So I turned it off later on. Although at the beginning, I enabled that. So this solution started with tagging sensitive content. Unlike the PII, where I'm able to find out PI, here I cannot find out sensitive data. I have to rely on the content owner to tell me this data set on Tableau server is particular sensitive. For example, tagging special code, special tagging. They can tag workbook, data source flows. Even some teams later on, we allow them to kind of tag a project level. We all know you cannot tag a project. There's no tag, but we designed special description kind of thing that can tag the project. If they tag the project, basically every single content in a project is considered as the secret code. Once it's tagged, we will using a watchdog program to send either email alert or have the pop-up or have a little bit small on the left lower corner the warning. Okay. This feature works okay. Works okay because on the UI, I would like to have a better way to show the UI, but I couldn't figure it out. Now I'm very excited. Tableau's new release coming. It is already on cloud, but on server is coming hopefully next few weeks. There's a new called sensitive data label. Sensitive data label. This is a very good feature I've been looking for a long time. I'll show you. This feature is coming. It's coming soon. Maybe November, December timeframe. Once I figure out, learn more, I will talk about this feature. This is a feature I'm very excited. So what this feature is about is two things. Okay, this is a new feature coming, also needs data management add-on. It has two things. One is allows custom data labels. Allows custom data labels. I will show you. Okay, you can add your own data label. Think about that. Second, at the first time ever, now it cascading data labels to your workbook level. It cascading data label to the workbook level. Let me show you. It's available on the cloud already. If you're using cloud, I do have a sample cloud. This is a workbook. As you can see, this label comes from a data source. Okay, show you data source. This data source has sensitive label. Okay, this label also can have multiple other labels. This is what I customized. Okay, this is additional, and can be a certified, can be data warning. Okay, what customize the table? They were not cascading to the workbook level. Okay, however, the out-of-box Tableau sensitive label, looks the color, it will cascade into all the connected workbooks. This is a beautiful feature. I'll show you. See that? This is automatically done by Tableau. Go back. This is beautiful. This is a feature I've been looking for a long time. See that? Automatically. As long as there is a tag on the data source level, you can tag it on data source, flows, external tables, columns. That's beautiful. Now let me show you this custom label you can do as admin, site admin or server admin. Data labels, this is the new. Notice this is the new one. Okay, this is the new. The one above here is out-of-box feature, out-of-box Tableau's label. Those have defined workflows by Tableau. Okay, the high sensitive, you can change it. High means it will have the purple color. The standard means it will have the regular gray color. Now, what I defined here, for example, I can define specific project. What I defined, I don't have option. Tableau does not give us option to cascading to the connected workbooks. And anything I customize, I don't have the cascading feature. But anything out of Tableau box, there is high or standard option. You can define, I need to figure out what's the maximum label I can define. So once it's defined, I'll show you here. Go to a data source, find any data source. Okay, any data source. Let me find the one, just e-learning, for example. Okay, go to data source and click ... Now you have a data labels show up here. Data labels. Click data labels. You got choice of different data labels. Okay, show data labels, sensitive or whatever. Those are two different ones I designed. Okay, I can say that. And this data will have the label right away. The connected workbooks may take time. This is a batch job. It takes time to cascade to connect workbooks, but it will in few hours. This is a beautiful feature. Going back, mainly two key features. One is you can customize data labels. Only admins can customize. Mainly is predefined. Then once it's predefined on the server on the site, can be leveraged by the account owner. The out-of-box data labels can be cascaded to the workbooks level. Asset that can be labeled database tables, those are external assets, columns, data source, flows, vcon, virtual connections. In Tableau's documentation, it's hard to find this page, but they also list data labels difference versus tagging. Tagging, high level, is mainly is a freelance, no control, no permission, no tracking. Where this data labels has permissions. Only the account owner, project admins can add data label. Now it's permission controlled. Also, it has a color, purple color, cascading. It's all data label. Tagging has no such things. Plus is API, fully API accessible. And of course, on the UI side, needs data management and add-on license. So with this new coming feature, I'm very excited. Potentially, I may want to change my program for the trading secret protection to using these data labels. I'm changing, we'll change it from tagging to use data labels. Once it's data labeled, and I'm expecting the feature they'll cascade into the workbook level. The coming feature 23.3 on the server, it may not cascade into the view level, but what I heard is Tableau is working on cascading to the view level as well in the future release. All right, let's recap. All the security governance things can be done. Account owner left the company, delete all the users and send alert to the project managers. All user groups, how do you deal with that is your choice. Large group is nice reminder. Account owner, we left twice, repeat here. PI data, how to detect PI. And I renew subscriptions every 100 days. I have a way to detect alert sensitive data on the permission difference. Mostly just alert. If I recap this way, only two things I have enforced actions. One is all user group, one is PI. Not all PIs, only certain category of PI. All right, that's all I have. Let me just test your quick understanding. All user groups, can you delete or hide all user groups? Can you delete or hide all user groups? I wish the answer is yes, but I don't know how. I will say the answer is no. Large groups. Can account owner tell a number of users in a group when they are ready to grant permissions? Can the account owner tell? Unfortunately, it's no. PII detection and deletion. Do I need the data management add-on for that feature? The answer is no, because the whole data, lineage data, is available in the backend table. that can be leveraged by read-only Postgres user if you are the server admin. However, the data management add-on is still required if you want to show the data quality warning now and also new data label in the future. I actually strongly recommend a data management add-on module. PII taxonomy, is that accurate to detect using the PII taxonomy? Well, it is accurate as long as content owner does not change the column name. Technically, it goes by name, column name. Which is why in my case, when I detect, I actually send them a confirmation, ask them to confirm if this is a PII data or not. For the EDW, I know for sure, so I can take action. But for the data set not from EDW, I ask them to confirm. New data labels. Do I need data management add-on? The answer is yes, you do. All right, recap. This is what can be done to further enhance or secure your server. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time. And let me see if there are any other questions. I can stay a few more minutes to answer any other questions you may have. Let me stop my sharing. Yeah, data management add-on and the server management add-on are separate modules, separate skill from Tableau. I recommend data management add-on, but the server is okay. Server management add-on does not have any very fancy features. All right, we are at the top of the hour. Thank you so much for your time. For those who have questions, I can stay for a few more minutes. Otherwise, thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.